Hello and welcome to Autoportal.com, the car buying website that helps you buy better. Well, if you're in the market for an affordable hatchback, then you really are spoiled for choice. This, of course, is Hyundai's Eon, which they have updated with a new 1-litre engine, but you also have the updated Maruti Alto K10 to choose from. But which one is better and which one should you invest your money in, and which one makes more sense as your first car? We'll find out on the show today. While none of these cars will really win an outright style contest, the Eon's cute proportions and sleek looks should really appeal to the style seekers and really makes it stand out in a sea of hatchbacks out there. But that said, the new Alto looks much better. Its new face with those bigger headlamps and a new grille up front really makes it more appealing than ever before. Well, as you can see, it's a pretty well-shaped boot. It's very square in shape, and also there's no loading lip, which means you can heave in that heavy luggage without any fuss at all. No suspension intrusion as well, which really does aid luggage capacity inside the boot. Officially, it's 177 liters in space, but you can really load it up to the brim. Well, just because the Hyundai Eon is small and compact on the outside doesn't mean that the boot is small as well. Now, officially, this is 215 liters in space, and that makes it a clear winner over the Alto. But it's also very, very well shaped and very usable. As you can see, it's a very square shaped boot, and there's a little bit of suspension intrusion, but it's not too much and should not be an issue. So if you really want to load those big boxes, or somebody's coming from the airport and has a big luggage, then this car will take it without any fuss. Here I am inside the cabin of the new Alto now, and as you can see, headroom is really generous. In fact, this is one of the better cars at this price point for headroom. Maruti also has done a great job with the seat cushioning and bolstering. They haven't cut any costs like some of their rivals who offer very thin seats. This is a well padded and well cushioned seat, and that means that on those long journeys you will not be feeling too tired, or your back will not really be aching. Well, in terms of practicality, this is a decent place. It's not too bad. You get these two cup holders right in front. You also get a shelf ahead of them where you can put your cell phone or your wallet at. And because this is, of course, a very cost competitive car, you can't expect too many goodies in terms of equipment, but it comes pretty well kitted. You get the basics. You get power steering, you get an air conditioning unit, you also get a stereo, and you also get two power windows up ahead. But unfortunately, those two power window buttons are positioned right here between the two passengers, and that can be a little annoying to use initially, because the traditional place for the power window switch is, of course, on the door pockets. But once you get the hang of it, it's not too much of an issue. And overall, a decent place to be. Quality levels are pretty good. This black and beige combination works pretty okay. And really, Maruti have done a decent job when it comes to cabin ambience inside the Alto's front seats. Well, the Eon is just as funky on the inside as it is on the outside. And despite being a small hatchback, it really feels very, very roomy and very airy inside this cabin. And that really goes to show you how much work Hyundai have put into this car. Well, as you can see, headroom is really very generous, and it's as good as the Altos, if not slightly better. And the seat cushioning is very, very good. It's very wide, and that means that you get very good underside support and good support for your back for those long journeys as well. Well, in terms of practicality, the Eon really does score full marks, and it's much better than the Alto's cabin. You get a big tray over here where you can put your cell phone at. There's also a big glove box where you can put a couple of 1-litre bottles or a small handbag, and there's also a place right on top of the glove box where you can put a big water bottle at, and it'll stay there very easily. So full marks to Hyundai in terms of practicality. Well, the Eon's interiors score over the Alto in terms of cabin design as well as quality. In fact, the materials used inside this car are clearly a step ahead of the small Alto, and this black, beige and the silver accents really do work in this car's favor. Well, the Eon and the Alto really are very cost competitive cars, so you cannot expect both of them to come loaded. But really, in terms of equipment, it's even Stevens between them. There's nothing you can choose between these cars when it comes to equipment. They're very, very similar. The Eon, for record's sake, comes with exactly the same equipment. It has air conditioning as standard, power steering, as well as a stereo with USB and auxiliary, and two front power windows and a 12-volt socket as well. Well, here I am inside the back seat of the new Alto now, and I've adjusted the front seat to my height, which for reference is 5'10". Headroom again is very generous and one of the best in any small cars, and legroom is just about adequate. what Maruti really have done is a very smart thing. They've scooped out the backrest of the front seat to give you additional knee room. In terms of the width, it's not a very wide car, so sitting 3 over here will be a bit of a tussle on longer journeys. Seat cushioning is very good, the backrest angle is very good, and under thigh support is good as well. Well, here I am inside the Hyundai Eon's back seat now, and I've adjusted the front seat to my height, which for reference is 5'10", and as you can see, legroom is just about adequate. But yeah, you can stretch your feet below the front seats in this car. Also, headroom is pretty good and is at par with the Alto, but where the Eon really has the edge is in sitting 3 over here in comfort, because it is a slightly wider car than the Alto. You can actually genuinely fit 3 over here, and the seats are much more high set, when that means that getting in and out is much more easier, and it also feels much more roomier than that car, and that ensures that when you do get out of this car after that long journey, you won't feel too tired. Well, so here I am driving the manual version of the Alto now, and I have to say it's a very, very nippy car. It's one of the best cars if you want to dart around in traffic. Of course, I would not recommend that, but of course, if you are one of those guys who loves darting around in traffic, this is really a very agile and very nimble car. It's got very light controls. Well, it's one of the nippiest engines around. It really loves to be revved hard, and even when you rev it hard, it's not very, very loud inside the cabin. It's very smooth when you are in the city, and really this K series of engines from Maruti is one of the best on any petrol car in the Indian market. Of course, this isn't really a car which you will be taking out on track, but that said, it feels pretty sure-footed, despite the fact that it comes with very thin tires. Well, Maruti really are the masters when it comes to ride quality, and this Alto is no different. In fact, you really cannot believe that it has a very compact wheelbase. In fact, you know, it feels like a much bigger car in the ride department, and doesn't really feel that it is one of the shortest wheelbases on sale in India. Well, this manual gearbox is very slick, it's very light to operate, and that means that changing gears in the city is not really a big issue. The clutch is also very light, and that, along with this very good visibility from all these windows, along with a very light steering wheel, makes this one of the best cars, if not the best car, for city travel. Well, so here I am driving the new Eon with the 1-litre engine. Well, the Eon, just like the Alto, really feels at home when you are driving it in the city. Its compact dimensions and very light controls really make it a very city-friendly car. Well, while both these cars have exactly the same amount of power, both of them offer 68 bhp from their 1-litre engines, where the Alto has the clear edge over the Eon is in drivability. The Alto's K-series engine feels a lot more punchy, a lot more lively, and it really does beg you to rev it really hard. Well, the Eon is typically like a Hyundai car. The steering is really very light, the clutch is very light, and the gearbox also offers very light and pretty accurate throws. Well, when it comes to stability on the highway, the Eon and the Alto are both pretty good, and there's very little to choose between them. And even though they feel pretty stable, you really will not want to push these cars beyond 100, 110, because they do tend to feel light after that speeds. Well, at slow city speeds, the Eon definitely has the edge in the ride department over the Alto. It soaks up the bumps much better, and it really does take the sting out of the worst road surfaces much better than the Alto does. Well, when it comes to fuel economy, the Alto has the clear edge over the Eon. Well, the Eon delivers 20 plus kmpl, while the Alto delivers a very, very good 24 plus kmpl, and those are ARI tested figures given officially by the manufacturers. Well, so in the overall analysis, while both these cars are not perfect, it's the Eon which really feels like less of a compromise. And even though the Eon might be a little more expensive than the Alto, its much bigger boot, a more comfortable cabin, and better build quality really make it the better car of these two, and the one to go for if you're in the market for an affordable and compact hatchback. Well, and if you want to know more about this car and its other rivals, head to our website autoportal.com. If you're in the market for a bigger Hyundai car, you can of course check out our Grand i10 video by clicking on this link below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel by clicking on this link above. It's bye for now, and hope to see you soon.